After the fourth tantrum of the morning, the spilled cereal, the screaming over the blue cup instead of the red one, I snapped. Look, if you are a parent, you have absolutely lived this exact scenario. You're exhausted, you're trying your absolute best, and suddenly, over something seemingly tiny, the wheels just completely fall off. Your heart is racing, your frustration is peaking, and before you even realize what's happening, you're yelling. And you're not yelling because you want to, right? You're doing it because in that specific moment, you literally do not know what else to do. And the worst part? The yelling doesn't even work. It usually just makes them scream louder, dig their heels in harder, and then, well, you both end up in tears. I want to just validate that reality for you right out of the gate. You are not alone in this, and more importantly, it absolutely doesn't have to be this way.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, our mission is straightforward but honestly, completely life-changing. We're going to look at exactly how to fix child tantrums without yelling, and for sure, without resorting to bribing. We are unpacking an incredibly brilliant source document from a parent who has been deep in the trenches and actually found a guilt-free, super practical approach to managing these massive meltdowns. We're going to break down what's literally happening inside your child's brain, and we'll equip you with real, actionable steps to turn all that chaos into genuine connection. Okay, here's our roadmap for today. First up, we're redefining the child tantrum. Second, we'll uncover hidden triggers and prevention. Third, regulating your own reactions. Fourth, surviving those mid-tantrum moments. And finally, number 5, repairing after the storm. Let's dive in.
Starting off with Section 1, redefining the child tantrum. This isn't a battle, it's a signal.
Okay, first things first. Let's completely toss out the parent guilt. Just get rid of it. According to our source material, a tantrum is literally a child's nervous system short-circuiting. Why? Because of fatigue, hunger, feeling totally out of control, or just plain overstimulation. Or, maybe they just can't express what they need with words yet. The point is, this is not bad behavior. They aren't sitting there trying to manipulate you. They are experiencing massive emotional overload. Their tiny little bodies just cannot process the sheer amount of input they're receiving.
I really want to pause here for a second and just let this sink in. Tantrums aren't a battle. They are a signal. Once you wrap your head around this, it is a total game changer. You stop seeing your screaming toddler as an enemy you have to defeat or control. Instead, you start seeing them as a tiny human who is essentially shooting off a distress flare. They are signaling to you, hey, my system is overwhelmed.
So if a tantrum is just a signal of an overwhelmed system, how do we stop the short-circuiting before it even happens? That brings us to Section 2, hidden triggers and prevention. Stopping the overload.
Now, some triggers are obvious, right? But the source highlights several sneaky hidden triggers that most of us totally miss. Transitions without warning are a massive one. I mean, yanking a kid from playtime straight to bath time without a heads up, absolute recipe for disaster. Giving too many choices is another biggie. We think we're being cool and giving them freedom, but we're actually handing them more data than their little brains can process. Then there's parent stress. Kids are like little sponges. They're incredibly intuitive. They feel our tension and they just mirror it right back to us. And lastly, lack of routine. The more chaotic and unpredictable the child's life feels, the more frequently these meltdowns are going to pop up.
This is where the prevention-first approach comes in. You can actually shut down most tantrums before they even start. How? By giving a simple 5-minute warning before any transition. Lean heavily into predictable routines so your kid knows exactly what to expect. Offer limited choices. Say, hey, do you want the red shirt or the blue shirt instead of go pick an outfit? And absolutely crucial here, plan snacks. The source points out that simple, basic hunger is behind way more tantrums than you'd ever guess.
But let's be real, you cannot prevent every single one. So what do you do when the screaming actually starts? We've arrived at Section 3, regulating your own reactions, managing your internal state. When your child starts wailing, your body's alarm bells go off instantly. Your heart pounds, your voice gets louder, and your ultimate overwhelming urge is just to shut the noise down immediately. You have got to fight that instinct. Here are the actual physical steps to stay calm. First, breathe. Literally count to 3 in your head before you utter a single word. Second, forcefully lower your voice. This is a great trick because it actually forces the child to quiet down just so they can hear what you're saying. And third, step back physically. Just give yourself an inch of breathing room before you dive in. And while you're taking that step back and taking that deep breath, you need a mental anchor. So repeat this exact phrase in your head. This is communication, not defiance. Use it as your mantra. Let it ground you. They aren't trying to fight you, they're just trying to tell you something in literally the only messy, chaotic way they know how.
Okay,
So you've regulated your own internal state. Awesome. Now what? Section 4. Surviving mid-tantrum moments. The external actions. It is time to override our old parental reflexes. Let's check out the don'ts first. Don't lecture. Please do not try to argue logic with them. Their brain is essentially offline. They literally cannot process logic mid-meltdown. And definitely don't threaten them with stuff like, if you don't stop right now, no TV for a week. Instead, let's look at the do's column. Do stay nearby and remain calm. Acknowledge what they're feeling. And use really short, super simple phrases like, I'm right here. You are safe.
I know a lot of parents worry that by getting down on their kids' eye level, naming their feelings, and showing empathy, they're somehow giving in or losing their authority. But the source material hits the nail on the head here. You're not giving in, you're showing them you're on their side. When kids feel truly seen and understood, that desperate, driving need to scream and thrash, it just naturally drops.
Now, empathy does not mean throwing the rules out the window. We still have to set boundaries, but we do it without bribes or threats. Boundaries are non-negotiable, but they don't have to be loud or intimidating. You just calmly state what isn't okay, like we don't hit. And then, this is key, you offer a physical redirection. But you can stop your feet on the floor instead. And then you just calmly hold that line every single time.
Lock this powerful truth into your brain. Kids test limits to feel safe. They are literally pushing against the walls just to see if the walls will hold. Consistency is what builds that feeling of safety. If you cave and hand over a bribe just to get 2 minutes of peace and quiet, the wall crumbles. And believe it or not, that actually makes your child feel way less secure.
So, the tantrum is finally passed. The tears are drying up. Now what do we do? Welcome to Section 5, Repairing After the Storm.
Reconnecting is absolutely vital here. Our source breaks down this super actionable 3-step sequence for repairing things. Step 1. Offer a hug. Physical touch genuinely resets the nervous system. Step 2. Talk about what happened, but keep it brief. Just a simple, man, you were really mad when we couldn't go outside, huh? Step 3. End on a positive note. Read a quick book, draw a picture together, or just sit and cuddle for a minute.
And why go through all this effort? Because you are teaching your child a profoundly important long-term lesson. Conflict doesn't break the relationship. You're proving to them that even when things get super messy, and even when big, ugly emotions happen, your love for them is completely unconditional. It endures.
And hey, remember this for yourself. Tantrums are not proof that you are failing as a parent. Not at all. They are merely proof that your child is right in the middle of learning how to handle giant, overwhelming emotions. And you are their trusted guide through all of it. When you choose connection over control and calmness over bribes, you're literally building coping skills that they're going to use for the rest of their lives.
All right, let's recap your toolkit, the stuff you can literally start doing the second this explainer ends. Number 1, identify your child's top 3 triggers so you can stay ahead of them. Number 2, start giving a 5-minute warning before every transition. Number 3, practice naming feelings out loud, even when they're perfectly happy. Number 4, actively lower your voice when the tension spikes. And number 5, always reconnect after a conflict, every single time.
We've covered a ton of ground today, completely shifting the narrative from exhaustion and guilt over to strategy and real empathy. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. When the inevitable spilled cereal happens tomorrow morning, where they get the completely wrong colored cup, how will you use that next tantrum as a guide rather than a battle? Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, you've totally got this. Keep learning, keep growing, and I will catch you in the next explainer.